Houston, we have a problem.
Give me all you got!
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Give me back my gun! I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stand and Watch, the best and only dad movie podcast you're ever going to listen to. I am one of your hosts, Matt,
And I'm one of your other hosts, Nick.
and Nick has a story to tell.
I do. So we were talking. Today's movie is Ricky Stanicky, and we were talking about one of the cast members of the movie, Jermaine Fowler, who plays Wes in this movie, but he is in another movie called The Blackening, which is a horror movie with an entirely black cast. And so the funny story, in a previous episode, I brought up my improv pedophile, who was a pedophile that was in an improv class that I took. Was in a class with this man for over a year, had no idea he was a pedophile, and then found out towards the end of my run at that theater. And so I'm still in an improv team at that theater, much smaller. Our class is like 13 people. 4 of us cut off and did our own little group. And one of our members is a woman of color, and this pedophile, anytime he sees her, will come up and like tell her something of the culture that he is getting into. And you, Matt, do you know what I mean when I say the culture?
Was he getting into, like, black culture?
Yes. And so for some context, this pedophile is very white, very old. I'm not ageist and not against the white folk here, but he's pedophile, so he's the bad guy of the story. Pedophile, there's this one time that it just stood out. We were in the middle of an intermission for a show between groups.
Did this happen before or after you knew he was a pedophile?
After.
Oh, so you knew he was a pedophile, and now you're learning he's a racist?
Yes, basically. So he comes up to this my improv teammate, and he says to her, and I don't want to say her name, I don't want to dox anyone or whatever, but hey, you, I saw The Blackening over the weekend. It's amazing. And for like the next 5 minutes, he's talking to her about The Blackening, and he leaves, and she turns to us and she's like, I don't give a fuck about that movie, and why if I did, I wouldn't want to talk about it with a pedophile.
So you all knew he was a pedophile at this time?
Yes.
How long after you knew he was a pedophile, did the class continue? Like, how much longer were you with this pedophile after learning he was a pedophile?
So the class, there was probably 10 weeks left, but I bowed out after 2 of those just because I was getting ready to have my second kid.
Okay.
And I needed to spend more time at home with the kids, and I was going on leave, and so was my wife. And so I ended my time with the pedophile.
That's always smart.
Yeah. And so now anytime we're alone and we're all chit-chatting, I'll turn to my friend and be like, hey, you know what I saw on TV the other day? I saw The Blackening. It came on the television. I'll fuck with her. I'll be like, but speaking of the culture, I saw The Blackening. And she hasn't told me to stop, so I think it's okay. But it's the pedophile who's the butt of the joke.
Yeah, the butt of the joke is the clear villain, the pedophile. I will say, when The Blackening 2 was announced, I made sure that my friend knew that it was announced. I said, hey, before you see the pedophile, I wanted you to know. Before he told you, I wanted to tell you. There's a sequel to that movie?
I believe they're doing a Blackening 2.
Oh, wow. When did the first one come out?
First one came out in 2022, summer of 2022. Yeah, it's like June 16th, 2023. It came out in TIFF back in 2022.
Ah.
I hate when they say a movie's from 2022, but it
I
was
know.
only at these stupid film festivals that nobody fucking goes to.
I know. Like, if I was trying to make I was trying to do on Letterboxd. I was trying to rank all the new movies I've seen,
And I finished it. I'm like, hang on, I'm missing something. And I went back. I'm like, oh, it's missing, because I sorted it by date. And it's like, where the hell is like Hitman? Or like, where the hell's the Bike Riders? And it's both those movies are listed 2023 because they came out at TIFF.
So annoying.
I hate it.
They should be listed for theatrical release.
Or streaming if it doesn't get a theatrical release, as some unimportant movies tend to do.
Like the Knives Out movies.
Yeah. An important movie that did not get a theatrical release that should have is this movie, by the way, Ricky Stanicky.
Ricky Stanicky did not. Ricky Stanicky was one of those movies that was like in production limbo for like 14 years, I think.
Was it 14? Oh God.
Let me go back to the Ricky Stanicky wiki. The Ricky Stanicky wiki does confirm it was reported that James Franco was attached to play Ricky Stanicky back in 2010.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he died.
It's a shame that he died. It was way before, he gnawed his arm off in that one movie, or he stole another movie from some students that were his students, actually. Yeah, what a long, weird career James Franco had before he ultimately passed.
Yeah. And what a way to go, too. A piano falling on him.
Yeah, it's kind of poetic.
Yeah.
In a way. Do we want to get into the sticky of the Ricky Stanicky?
Yes, we do, because people are gonna want to know, right? Oh, it didn't get at the edge. Why not? Should it have? And I believe it should have, because comedy.
It's a great name.
It is. Comedies are better in a theater.
Let's see. So Ricky Stanicky is a 2024 American comedy co-written and directed by Peter Farrelly.
Farley?
Stars
is it Fairley?
Farrelly? Stars Zac Efron, Jermaine Fowler, Andrew Santino, Lex Scott Davis, Anja Stavzik, Jeff Ross, William H. Macy, and John Cena.
Why is John Cena listed last?
It's what you either want to be first bill or last bill, right? Because that's the name that's most remembered.
That's true.
It came out 2024. It was streaming automatically, like right away on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So no box. It had a budget of $49.7 million. No box office.
Well, because it didn't come out in the box office.
Exactly. Release date was March 7th, 2024, which can't believe it came out this year. I thought when we got this, it was like, oh, this movie's like a year old.
Yeah,
nope.
No. That's how
7 months old.
That's how time moves. Now, so you hadn't seen this. I had seen this when it came out. I watched it previously. So this time, I still found it enjoyable.
I found it enjoyable, but also there's the fact that comedies like this just don't get made anymore. I found myself watching this and thinking, like, if this came out in the peak of R-rated comedies, like the the years of 2005 and 2010,
if this came out in 2006 or 7, it would have made like $500 million.
It would have. First of all, we'd all like. Ricky Stanicky would have been like a hot Halloween costume, but also it would have been the most like obnoxiously overly quoted movie in middle school.
Yeah.
Just like The Hangover or Wedding Crashers or 40-Year-Old. It would have been right up there with them.
Yeah, but that for a comedy, that's a stamp of approval. When you're the obnoxiously quoted middle school movie,
right?
You've made it.
Well, and I'm going to save it for our sandwich, but it feels like a movie out of time a little bit.
It does. I think when I first watched it,
feels like Amazon had it sitting in the basement, and they were like going through their stuff, dusting stuff off, and then someone came up to a box that said Ricky Stanicky and blew the dust off, and was like, "What was this? What is this?
The ancient texts."
We must get it to John Cena.
Yeah, when I first watched this when it came out, my first thought, when it first came out, I watched it with my sister. And my first thought at the end was, damn, I would have liked to see that with a group of strangers.
Yeah, it would have been a chuckle fest.
Yeah.
But instead you had to watch it at home alone with your sister.
Yeah, and we both chuckled together. But, it's not the same.
No, it's not.
It's never the same.
And that's, I mean, I look at the past year and I couldn't even name. I think the only comedy I can think of is that one where Jennifer Lawrence is like dating a guy or beating the shit out of a guy. I don't remember. It's the one where she's got
No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
full frontal Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Yes.
As my brother explained it to me.
Yes, I saw that. I did see that.
Just the full frontal scene. You haven't seen the full movie.
No, I've seen the full movie because I wanted to get to that scene.
Did you also see this with your sister?
No, that one I watched alone.
With the door closed.
It's an okay movie.
And your sister's knocking on the door. Matt, where's the Valvoline or where's the lotion?
Oh, no, I'm not that quick. It was a quick scene.
And you're like, shut up, I'm watching No Hard Feelings. Come back in like 10 minutes.
Listen, the feelings were actually pretty hard.
I think I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that after we're done recording here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think I was expecting it to be better based on the way people were talking about it, but it's fine.
She's mean in it, right? Like she's just downright. Because in that scene where she's naked, she's beating the shit out of somebody. Yeah,
well, she's like I don't remember what she does for a living. I think she's like a bartender or something. But she's like she's like a like a lower class like layabout or whatever. And she gets she's an Uber driver or something. And she gets her car like repoed. And then just to get the money for it, like she responds to an ad of these parents, these helicopter parents who are like, can you like pretend to date our son and have sex with him before he goes off to college so he can have some confidence? Which, if you're a parent, don't do that.
Don't let them have sex on their own. Let them pay for their own sex.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Oh, Matthew Broderick's in this?
Yeah, he's one of the parents.
To the dad. Scott MacArthur's in this? He's got to be a big piece of shit. I love him. I'm watching this.
But yeah, so she's like that kind of person. I think, oh yeah, they go to the beach. This is kind of a spoiler. You want me to tell you?
I've seen the scene. She's naked on the beach. It's nighttime, and she's fighting somebody.
Yeah,
she like beats the shit out of a guy.
So she coerces the nerdy guy into they go skinny dipping, and then these other people come to the beach and like kind of like try to fuck with them and like take their clothes or whatever. So she goes and she like goes to beat them up. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We don't get enough sex. I think sex comedies are going to make a comeback.
I don't know about that. These young kids are pretty get this sex out of my movies.
Fuck the kids, man.
Yeah,
just because they're lonely and nobody wants to fuck them doesn't mean you should take sex out of movies. It's so like if you're above the age of like 11, you shouldn't like think that. If you're above the age of 11 and you're like, "Oh, get these unnecessary sex scenes out of my movie." You need to like go back, like go develop your brain properly because it's not developed properly. Like you still have a baby brain. I think it's partially brain rot because the same people will be like, "Oh, boobs, get these boobs out of my movie."
I don't know.
But then they'll watch John Wick clear out a room of Russians and not fucking blink and be like, "I want more of that."
A lot of it is like the younger generations, but like I see a lot of like people, like I see a lot of people like millennials, like also like say things like that. Get these unnecessary sex scenes out of my movies. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, I want more. Like, if John Wick wanted to fuck a room of Russians, I'd watch that.
Yeah. I feel like people are just like, oh, but your parents might walk in on you and it's embarrassing. And like, were you like are you 6? Are you 6 years old? Like, what is...
That's the only hard, like, as a young child or as a young adult, like if a sex scene came on, I'd be like, I don't really want to watch this with my folks or my grandparents. But you know what? As a grown ass man, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, like I see these tweets all the time. Get these unnecessary sex scenes are so unnecessary. They never add anything to the plot, and they're just there and get them out of the movie. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're stupid. You're stupid.
Look, I really, really love Wedding Crashers, but all the boobs at the beginning, could we not?
Oh, if you're listening to this and you're one of these people who hate sex scenes in movies, you have a problem, okay? we might sound mean to you, but like we're trying to help. Like you need to like get over this, okay? Like you're an adult. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, hopefully you're an adult. Like get over yourself. Like be uncomfortable. Who cares? First of all, you shouldn't be uncomfortable during a sex scene. It's a sex scene. Just because you don't have it doesn't mean these beautiful movie stars can't pretend to have it in a movie about human beings.
You know, wieners and vaginas and buttholes, they do things. And sometimes those things are not remove waste from them. Sometimes sometimes there are other things that touch them.
Yeah.
And if you don't like sex scenes, you're really going to hate the last episode where we finish the wheel and we have sex. So
yeah, that'll be our first video podcast.
That's our first video podcast. We celebrate the ending of every wheel by fucking each other.
Yeah. Actually, we finish the wheel, and then we spin another wheel to determine who's the top and who's the bottom, and then we have sex to celebrate the finishing of the wheel.
If you thought the wheel was exciting before, the top and bottom wheel really, it's riveting.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Ricky Stanicky with our dad-approved letterbox reviews.
Jeez.
I have no segue from that.
Well, you know, there was kind of one with all the sex songs, but so here's my review. It is from Ram Heart Emoji, who is a patron. Good on you, Mr. Moneybags. He gave Ricky Stanicky 2 stars. I don't quite agree with that, but his review is Zac Efron is so baby girl. Which I only, you know, it's dad approved because I'm doing the typical thing dads do. And I want to ask, when someone says baby girl, are they saying like, oh, you're so cute? Or is it kind of like How I Met Your Mother episode where, not Lady Gaga, Katy Perry is like the ditzy blonde and they're like, oh, honey.
It's definitely one of
girl?
them. It's definitely one of the two. I'm not hip enough to know. But it's got to be one of those two. Okay, my review is from Hank, who is not a patron or a pro. Shame on you, Hank.
Bastard.
Yeah. Hank gave this movie 3 stars and wrote, "It's funny how John Cena starts off as the friend no one has seen."
It took me, when you sent that, it took me a minute to realize what was being said. At first, I was like, this is dumb. And I was like, oh, it's a you can't see me joke.
Yeah, and obviously that's what Dad's going to say.
It's a good dad joke.
Yeah.
I think Hank is a dad.
Yeah, probably. First thing Dad's going to say when he watches this movie is, who are they talking to?
Where is he? Where'd he go?
Yeah, you just know it. If you watch this with your dad, he's going to say that.
It's going to come out of his mouth. You can't stop it. This movie.
Sandwich time.
Yeah, so sandwich time, we do the good, we got the bread that's good, we got the meat in the middle that's bad, we got the bread on the bottom that's good.
Yeah.
This is seen as like, it's not seen as funniest movie, but it is the one where he gets to be the star of the comedy.
What is his funniest movie? I'm just curious.
He's really good in Blockers. He plays a really concerned dad who's like really sex positive, but also like doesn't want his daughter fucking.
So he's sex positive, but he doesn't want his daughter having the sex.
Yes. And I forget what, it's either him or Ike Barinholtz doesn't want their daughter fucking because they know they're gay and don't want them fucking a dude because they think they're just fucking the dude because they have to. But it's a really sweet, like, oh.
Yeah, no, John Cena
John
Cena is very funny. I think he's a very gifted comedic actor. He's always been funny.
Like, I like his comedies way more than anything else he does.
Yeah.
Like, just put Cena in the rest of the comedies for the rest of time. I don't want to see him near another action movie. I couldn't even tell you the last action movie he did.
I don't know. I mean, the Suicide Squad, but like that's kind of a comedy also. Like,
was he in a Fast movie?
Oh, that's right. He was in like Fast 9.
Is he the bad guy? No, he's John Cena's brother, or he's The Rock's brother, isn't he?
No, he's Vin Diesel's brother, but he's his evil brother.
Oh, but it's Fast does like the comic book thing where like, or the Dragon Ball Z thing where it's like Goku and Vegeta fight, but then Vegeta's friends. Now Vegeta's fucking Bulma. Yeah. Like now The Rock is there, and
Jason Statham, who killed Han, is their friend in the next movie.
That we're friends now.
It's like at
But
the
we gotta be fast.
It's like at the end of the movie where they were hunting him down for killing Han. You're invited to the barbecue.
But he just killed your drifting friend.
Yeah.
He killed your drifting friend. None of you other ones can drift.
He killed
was your drifting
he
friend.
killed so many people. I think he might have the highest body count of any Fast and Furious villain. You come have a Corona with us.
Come on, you've earned it. They're going to do a kid-friendly version of the Fast series, and they're just going to call it Fast Friends, and it's going to be on Disney Junior.
They have an animated show.
Oh no.
It's called
No.
it's called, what's it called? They have an animated show. We're getting off track here, but the people need to know.
People need to know about Fast Animated.
Fast and Furious. I'm Googling it now. See, if we had Joe Rogan's money, we could hire our own Jamie to Google these things.
Yeah, so if you want to pass the buck, all it takes is $20 a month will get us an assistant.
Or just, tell your friends, tell your family, help us get noticed. Fast and Furious Spy Racers. It's an animated show on Netflix.
I hate it already.
They have a video game.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
What do we got here? Who are the characters? The main character is Tony Toretto, the younger cousin of Dominic Toretto. He aspires to be a legend like his cousin.
Course. A fucking course. A fucking course. I like that the first movie and Tokyo Drift. Other than that, I'm out. Like
Fast
cool,
Five. Fast Five is really great.
That's the one with the safe, right?
Yeah.
Where they're driving and they're stealing the safe. Yeah, 5 is okay, but the first one where it's just like,
well, the first one is
being kids.
The first one is just Point Break, but street racing.
And they're stealing DVDs, man. They're stealing DVD players.
Tony Toretto, Dominic Toretto's cousin, is recruited by a government agency together with his friends to infiltrate an elite racing league, serving as a front for a criminal organization called Shifter that is bent on world domination.
This sounds like a Need for Speed story.
And Shifter, by the way, is spelled SH1FT3R.
Okay, we're getting back to Ricky Stanicky because now that's just fucking pissing me off.
Okay, no, but John Cena, very good at comedy.
Very good at comedy. I also like, and the film doesn't do too well at carrying it throughout, but I like the central theme of like lying and why we lie, and who we like, the things that we try to do with lies or things we try to hide behind lies. I like that. I like that a lot, though I feel like, and I'll save it for the negative.
Oh, is that the end of your thought?
Yeah, it's the end of my thought. I was
okay.
I was gonna say more, but I was like, no, it's still negative.
It sounded like you were about to say more, so I was waiting.
I just wanted to give you something to edit.
Thanks for that. No, yeah, I like the theme here that I like Ricky Stanicky's character, like John Cena's character arc in this, of like he goes from this like guy like at the bottom, like rock hard Rod. He's performing his, which this is its own positive, but he's performing his jizz jams, right? He's being hunted by these people who he think wants to kill him. He's an alcoholic. He's like on drugs. He's a nobody. And essentially by the end of the movie, he becomes John Cena. Just a really great guy who everybody likes. And I like that theme of like, yeah, and you can do this. You can turn your life around.
You get second chance. Get second chances.
If you just try. Yeah, he does it because the thing that causes him to do it is this lie. But like, yeah, it's like if you just do it, you can do it. If you want to be like John Cena, just try being like John Cena. You can do it. You can become like him. You can become a good person. You can become who you want to be.
All you need is a job that pays you $250,000 a year. That you land just based off of being an asshole to somebody.
Yeah. That was very realistic, by the way.
What?
That was very realistic, by the way. Just a guy getting a job he doesn't deserve with more money than people who deserve it, just because.
Oh, I was very mad, but I was like, yes, that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
I also liked how simple the movie stayed. Like the movie stayed simple through. It didn't try to throw a bunch of stuff for comedy's sake. Like for example, the party where John Cena really fucking like it's his coming out party, and you realize like, oh, this guy's like a really good actor. This guy's also really good at research.
Yeah.
They throw a few like minor inconveniences at him, but right away he's like, oh no, you know what I am like. The green what's the organization, Green Think or Green whatever,
Green something,
and the one mother-in-law is like, just she knows it's a lie, and she she sniffs it out, but she's like, well, what about this? And you start to see him like fumble a little bit, but then he shakes it off, and then he like just bounces back, and I liked how it kept it that simple and kind of just like moving right along. We're getting through this one moment, and then John Cena cuts off the foreskin, and you're like, oh, this guy's fucking nailing it all the way through.
I really like they could have gone like the route of like, oh, like, but he's he's a rock hard Rod. Of course he's a bad actor. The comedy is going to come from, they hired him to do this and he's bad at his job. But no, he's fucking great. Like he came prepared. Like he's
selling it.
Like he's really good at acting. Like he knows he knows their Ricky Stanicky Bible better than they do.
Right. He's like, yeah, like front and back, like he's telling them things that they should know. And they're like, oh shit. Like, I forget what it is. Like, oh yeah, as soon as he gets off the plane and he's sweating, and they're like, what's wrong with you? He's like, I'm 3 days sober. And they're like, why?
Like,
why are you doing this now?
Like you have to be drinking. You can't be like this. Like, no, Ricky Stanicky's sober. So I'm sober too. Yeah. Right? Like he's committed. It's like he says at the bris to Zac Efron, you got to buy the zoo.
I love that line. You know Matt Damon for We Bought a Zoo. He bought a zoo.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. No, it is.
I can't. Speaking of Zac Efron, I can't believe this came after Iron Claw.
This was like the movie right after. That was his movie right after.
Just to go from Iron Claw to this, I was like, oh wow, what a line to hop.
What range?
And then it reminded me of how sad. Well, you know what? It wasn't much of a leap because Zac Efron's character has some abuses that he faced from family in this.
Yeah, and I'll get into that. I think that's one of my downs actually.
Why? But you know what? I do think it was handled really well. It wasn't like too like overdone. Like they didn't do any flashbacks to show us anything.
No, I think
it just the pacing of it was weird because like. Comedy, and then someone be like, yeah, I don't even know you. Like, I know you didn't fall in that ditch. Do you want? Let's get to the negatives because I'll have more positives to say. The pacing is just way off.
I think
it's way off. Like we have all these things going on, and then out of nowhere, someone would be like, you have these 3 friends that are lying about Ricky Stanicky and using him as like the scapegoat anytime they've caused any trouble. But then these friends who you think like, oh, they are all like really know each other. They'd be like, Dean, I don't really know you, but I also know that you didn't fall down the like the lines felt written.
This is my problem with that subplot. And like at first I'm like, okay, like clear, like they start off like hinting at it, right? Because like he'll be talking about something and then he'll be like, yeah, this is having a kid is just a prison and you end up hating each other and blah, 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 blah. At least that's how it was in my house. Right. And I'm like, okay, they're hinting at something. And then it doesn't really go anywhere other than at the end. Yeah. Like Wes is just like, I know what happened. I saw your dad push you down that day. I know you didn't fall down in a ditch when you broke your arm when we were kids. And then it just kind of doesn't go anywhere and like it's never brought up again. And I know they're doing that because it's like, well, let's hint at like why Zac Efron lies so much and why he invented Ricky Stanicky. And then they hint at it and they tell it and just nothing comes of it at all. Like that should have been a conversation he had with his wife or girlfriend, right? Or whatever, right? Like, why did that revelation come from just Wes calling him out? Like, I know your dad. Like, I know your dad was hitting you. That's why you lie. And like that was it. It's never mentioned again. Like he never explains it to his wife, his girlfriend. She's just like okay with him at the end. It's like like really? Like that's how it's gonna, like that's what you're gonna do with that?
The other thing they do, like Dean is like the only one that has to answer for his lying. Like Wes and JT were there with him all along, lying. And yeah, like a lot of it was just Ricky Stanicky, but
Yeah.
now you're telling me Dean's the only one that has anything to answer for. Wes gets a little bit of it with lying about his children's book and like not having a job in anything.
Yeah, I mean, JT kind of gets he kind of gets some like consequences because his wife's like, you're camping out in the yard for the next 6 months.
It just, the movie, what would this end up running at? I mean, this was an hour 14, which is
just under 2 hours.
Just a little long for my comedy. Like, yeah, I like the 90 minutes. The Love Guru length, the perfect length. I know, terrible movie, perfect length.
Here's the thing, because this is one of my other downs, is the length. Because the second half drags.
Once they get past the bris,
it drags, and like you can feel it drag, but like, and this is my thing, because like it that is a downhill. Like, this is too long, and like you can feel it kind of like dragging and like struggling to like keep up with the first half and maintain its momentum. But at the same time, that second half is full of like good bits that I like. So I don't know what I would cut out.
It's tough. I think I would maybe shorten the bis up a little bit. I know that's Ricky Stanicky's like coming out party.
Yeah, that was a long sequence. It was a good, but yeah, you could have shortened that.
It almost felt like that should have been the last thing. Like that should have been the thing. Like, I don't know, just because I didn't like the whole, like, it moves so fast. Like, you're telling me the next day you've hired this man, and then I did like, and we can get back to it later, I did like Dean's girlfriend. Is that Susan?
Yes.
I did like that Susan like knew all along and was like fucking with everybody. I thought that was really clever.
It was Aaron. Susan was
Aaron.
Susan was JT's wife.
Yeah, that Aaron knew all along. It was just like, I thought it was an interesting story that you lied to him, and now he's getting a job, blah blah blah. I also didn't like Jeff Ross in this. keep the man in the roast. Let's not.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, anybody that could have been anybody.
I have more fun with it. Like, have that be like, I don't know, like the stereotypical rabbi played by Jeff Ross. Like,
I don't know what he was doing.
Like,
make it
Tom Hanks. Make it someone you don't expect to be that wacky, jokey rabbi.
Well, you know what I was thinking of whenever he was on screen as a rabbi. Have you ever seen the Seinfeld episode where they have a bris?
Mm-hmm.
With that moil?
Yeah, isn't that the one where the foreskin ends up in the food or something?
No, the moil accident during the bris, like the moil accidentally cuts Jerry's like finger off.
Okay.
Right, but like that moil, he's like I kept thinking of that guy because like that's like he's there and he's like that moil's like he's very like a neurotic, like Woody Allen type guy. And I kept thinking of that because I'm like, that's a funny like way to play a moil. And Jeff Ross is in this coming in, and he's just like doing like a stereotypical like rabbi accent, doing bad puns.
It was annoying. It was just like, get him out. Like, every time he popped up, I was like, get him out of here.
Yeah, like,
and then they feed him the drug, and I was like, oh great, now he gets to be even more unbearable.
Like, it felt like they were like, we need this moil, like he's a moil, so he should be a character, like a funny character. What do? I don't know. Just make him just have Jeff Ross talking a funny Jewish accent.
But then it could have been anybody.
Yeah, like it could have been anybody. You could, like, there's so many ways you can make like a funny moil. Right. And they chose the laziest, or I don't know if it was a script choice or if it was a Jeff Ross choice, but like just the laziest person you could have gotten, and he did the laziest job.
And like when you have the funny moil like that, my thought is always find someone who isn't funny. Like, find someone like, well, Jeff Ross isn't funny in most instances, but Find someone who doesn't do comedy, where comedy isn't like their thing. Like, name an actor. I'm looking around the room for an actor. Make it Elijah Wood. It would have been hilarious.
Elijah Wood. He does comedy, doesn't he?
He doesn't do as much comedy. He was great in Wilfred.
Yeah. Find somebody. Like, actors are funny, you know? Just find a funny like thing and have them do it, because this just felt like, well, he's a comedian, he'll do something funny, and he was just like, oh, it's a Moyle, I'll just be a funny Jew. Well, like, no, make him a character. Like, it's just Jeff Ross doing an accent.
He's doing everything he can to keep up with John Cena, and he fucking can't.
Yeah.
Cena fucking buries everybody in this. Fucking everybody.
Oh, do you have any more downs?
I think they wasted all the cum songs.
Did they waste them?
I definitely think you could have gotten more out of that bit. For sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
I think it was the perfect length.
But also the twist at the end of those guys that he thinks trying to jump him are actually like cease and desist guys for Billy Idol. Like, I feel like they lean on them a little too hard throughout. Like, you're constantly being reminded, like, people are out to get this guy. People are out to get this guy. And then, like, it's just, cause I remember watching it and I was like, there's only like 12 minutes left in this. Something better fucking happen with those guys. And then it does, and it's funny, but it's also like, we spent a lot of time to set that up, that real quick gag up.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I think just their presence, I think that's it gives his character a nice wrinkle of like, why, like, oh, like, he's not just, oh, you know, I'm a loser, and these people are trying to kill me, maybe. Like, of course, it gives him I think at the very least, it's a nice added thing of like, well, of course he'd want to like switch lives. Those guys are gonna kill him.
Right. Like, it adds to that part. And it's like, as soon as he stayed in his role and he was calling himself Ricky, I was like, oh, this guy's like, he sees a way out of his shitty life. And I liked that side of it.
Yeah, I like the can we get back into likes, or do you have any more dislikes?
Let's get back into likes. So we've had our negative time.
Yeah, I really like we talk about how funny John Cena is, but like, I really like after the bris when they're like paying him in the cab and like sending him on his way, there's like a real sadness in his eyes when he's like looking at them and realizing like that was the best day of my life and this is over now. They're sending me back to be Rock Hard Rod.
Yeah, you could see this as a man that did not want to. Where was that? Where was he from? Atlantic City.
Yeah,
he did not want to go back to. I mean, who could blame him? It's fucking Atlantic City.
Like there's a real you can he doesn't really say anything there. He's just looking at them, but there's a real pain in those eyes of I want to keep. I don't want this to end. Like I want to be Ricky. I don't want to go back to being Rod. And it's the same in when Dean confronts him in like the little closet or whatever. It's like John Cena is like really funny, and I don't want him to like I don't need him branching out into dramas or whatever. But like he's no Batista, but like when it counts, like he's also really good at like the character stuff.
He can turn it on a dime because that argument in the closet, you can feel him being like, man, I don't want to go back. Like, folks are after me. Like, it's good here. I've got this job with you. I'm dating I forget the girl with the long hair's name, but she's cute and like he's also kind of still he's being just this goofball asshole. I don't know that bowling scene where he's telling her that her hair is too long. Is he being an asshole or is he just like I was having a hard time with that because he's like, you could cut your hair. You don't have to keep it long. People
feel
are just
like
being nice.
I feel like that was him like trying to like legitimately be helpful, but like in his own way because like he's kind of a fucking idiot.
Right.
So like I feel like he like that scene like is like he was like saying like maybe cut your hair, it's too long. Like he was trying to be nice about it, like saying like, yeah, if you like it this way, you can keep it, that's fine, but like you should really consider cutting it.
Yeah, it'd be totally okay if you cut it. I don't know, people like it.
Cuz it's like one of those things where like no, like people like make fun of her behind her back, but she doesn't cut it because she thinks they like it. So it's like no one tells her the truth. So he thinks he's like being nice to her by like telling her the truth. Like, it's too long. You should cut it. It's unruly, even just a trim. But he's doing it in his little like idiotic, like doesn't know anything way.
But to that end, wouldn't him telling the truth, even if it is in his idiotic own way, he's being nicer than the people that are like, oh yeah, I love your hair, girly.
He is being nicer. He is being nicer.
I mean, but at the end of it all, he gets her hair caught in the bowl.
Yeah, I was
the bowling returner.
Even on second viewing, I had this problem with the first viewing. I don't think it's made clear if her hair got stuck in the bowling thing because of him or just as a freak accident because it was too long. Like
and she like to turn and like whipped it at the exact wrong time.
Yeah, like I couldn't tell if like did he like maybe like bump into her, like or like was he like leaning in for a kiss and like her hair went down? Like I don't think it that like I'm not sure whose fault that was. Other than it was just like here's a funny way we can end this scene.
Oh yes, and then we'll have the two balls come and hit her on the head.
Yeah.
I do like the origin story of Ricky Stanicky. Usually I hate those quick little throwaways, but them lighting the poop on someone's porch and then them not being home and then everything going terribly wrong. Quick thinking on young Dean to write Ricky Stanicky.
It's a good story because like I don't know, man. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid in like elementary school, my group of friends, like we had a fake guy. Whenever
oh my God, we did too.
I feel like lots of like obviously we never took it this far, but like when like, we had a fake guy. Like whenever there was like a substitute teacher, someone would say like they're somebody, and we made up a fake guy.
So me and go ahead.
Yeah, so like anytime there was like a substitute teacher, like someone in the class would be like, "You didn't call me in the attendance." Like, "Oh, what's your name?" I'm Hunter Bishop. Like, "Oh, you're not on the list." And then like we'd like write Hunter Bishop on like our things that we had to hand in, and like we had a fake guy. I feel like lots of male friend groups at that age, they had a fake guy that they made up to just fuck with people.
So me and a friend, we had a similar situation. We wouldn't make this guy up for in class, but we were coming up when social media was on the rise. Bebo was popular in middle school. And we made up a girl. We made up a girl that was going to be new to our school, and had her befriend all the guys that we knew, and kind of DM them. Not like anything weird or sexual. It was like 7th grade, so I think we were all still budding into that. But would be like, "Oh, hey, you're cool," like and just be complete fucking idiots. And we had the whole class going for a good month that there was a new girl. Ashley Williams coming to class. It was fun. We would hear random people be like, "Hey, do you hear there's a new girl?" And we would just look at each other and chuckle.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good origin story because I feel like a lot of people can be like, "Yeah, we had a fake guy as kids."
Yeah, I think it's just a thing. Like it becomes not a person to blame something on, but it just becomes a thing. It's just a rite of passage. It's like you weren't in middle school at this point in life if you weren't making somebody up.
Yeah, and everybody had a different reason to do it, but like you made somebody up. Let's like at around that age, like you everybody had their own Ricky Stanicky for something.
I also really, really liked William H. Macy in this.
Yes, the air dicker.
The air dicker, and it's a great bit.
That is a great bit.
And they pull him up. His little assistant guy every time he's like, "Do we have a video guy?" He's like,
that's
I'm
me.
a video guy.
Yeah.
Do we have IT? I'm IT.
I'm IT.
Where's our AV guy? That's
me. Yeah, that's me too.
Just great energy from like I've seen that guy. I've been that guy.
Yeah, just a nice little part. It's just like every time that guy's. And I like the little, like, there's, like, big bits. I like the little bits that, like, there's little bits in here that are thrown in, like, that are really funny. Like, when Ricky Stanicky, like, first shows up, and, like, he he takes like the calamari and he's like, "This is mine now," right? And then like, no, it's and like Zac Efron apologizes to him for JT being rude, and Ricky goes off. Before he goes off, he takes the guy. There's a guy at the slot machine next to him. He just takes his drink and chugs it and leaves.
And there's like right after that, he escapes out the window because those guys are like near him.
Yeah,
and he spills his drink. He spills his drink on a cardboard box and like tries to like slurp it up off of the box.
yeah. He comes like when he's in the airport. He's wearing a shirt that says "I don't trust soup."
Which great shirt.
That got a great chuckle out of me. Yeah, and like just little things like when he goes to the office, he tells the guy, the assistant guy, he's like, yeah, this desk. This is a shit wood. Get me a desk that's redwood. This is a shit wood. And these walls, more ham color. There's just little stupid bits like that.
I love an idiot in power. They're like a harmless idiot. Like, not like anyone from Succession who's like an idiot, but they're like can cause all this destruction. Like John Cena in this is a harmless idiot who's like, oh, give me a non-shit wood and let's make this wall non-ham.
Yeah, let's make this wall ham colored.
Or you're a jacker, and you're sitting here, you're like, man, William H Macy's not gonna like being called a jacker. But then you realize he's more mad that no one has told him he's a jacker.
Yeah, he's like, why didn't you tell me this? I've been air dicking. this whole time.
And then later on he starts to talk and he starts to do it and he catches himself mid-air dick.
Oh, yeah. Well,
just very likable for the most part. Very just about everybody's really likable in this except for Jeff Frost.
Yeah. John Cena, like I think the biggest success of this is like as soon as like Rock Hard Rob is like in character, you're like, I would like to be this guy's friend. He seems like a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like Ricky Stanicky brought to life by Rock Hard Rod. Cool dude. I'd like to hang out with him.
And I love that the movie, like, aside from the lying being a major theme, I like the major theme of second chances being granted. Like everyone is worthy of a second chance. Dean, Ricky, or Rock Hard Rob, whatever you want to call him. William H. Macy, like, a lesser movie would have taken William H. Macy as an air dicker and just made him like this terrible person throughout the whhole movie.
Yeah.
But no, he's got these redeemable things. He's not one of those old curmudgeons. It's like, no new ideas. We do things my way. Like he's a guy who's like
Ricky's idea
reinventing.
Yeah, like Ricky's idea for their like financial company is like, well, what if we gave a bunch of money to poor people or whatever? And like he's like, yeah, that might work. We'll get tax breaks, and like his reasoning makes sense for like a shitty business guy, but he's like into it. And you're like, yeah. He's
right.
Like he's not he's not a Scrooge.
I think he's not a Scrooge, exactly. And I think Aaron like delivers, like when Aaron and Dean have their last big fight, and like he realizes that, oh shit, like she knew, but they went with the story and they did the story this way. And Dean's like, can you ever forgive me? And she's like, it's gonna take time, but we can get there. I think that's the whole kit and caboodle of it is like, yeah, second chances are tough and they take time, but you can get there.
Yeah, I think this is just Peter Farrelly, but like the Farrelly brothers, like they're very good. Like most of their comedies are of the ilk where it's like, yeah, like it's like a raunchy, like gross out, like juvenile comedy. But like they all have a really big heart in the center of it where like it's like, yeah, like Dumb and Dumber, like these guys are idiots and it's full of like gross things and like pee-pee poo-poo humor, but like the message is like really nice. Right? Like Dumb and Dumber or There's Something About Mary. Like they're like it's that like, like shit and fart jokes, but like, it's kind of warm and fuzzy also.
I forgot they did Hall Pass too, and the Heartbreak Kid. I love the Heartbreak Kid. Jackhammer me.
Oh my god! I didn't know that was them.
When your wife on your wedding honeymoon wants you to jackhammer her, you get in there and you jackhammer her. Great fucking movie. R.I.P. Jerry Stiller.
Oh,
How many dads get to tell their actual sons to go jackhammer their wives?
oh, that's great.
That's going on the next wheel. I'm sorry. That is a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
I forgot Michelle Monaghan.
Monahan?
Monahan. I had a feeling it's Monahan, but I wanted to give the G its time in the sun. I love her. She's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is, I think the big thing here, I think the main thing here, it's a comedy. It made me laugh. I had a good time watching it. And really, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. If it at the end of the day, if it's making you laugh, it's a good comedy.
Yeah. This is a good comedy. I give it a 3.5.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna follow my Letterboxd score on here, and I'm gonna give it a 4.
All right. So the real question is, how much of a dad movie is this?
Oh, this is tougher. I was thinking about this.
This could go both ways, I think.
Are the dads gonna like the cum jokes, the songs being turned into songs?
I think dads will like the jizz jams because, and this is the key factor, the jizz jams are catchy, right? Like, it's not just needless like cum jokes. Like, the lyrics are good. Like, he put thought, like Rock Hard Rod put thought into those jizz lyrics. But the crucial factor is they're all classic rock songs.
Yeah.
Right.
The dads do like Billy Idol.
Right. Like dads are going to listen to that. They're going to be singing those. Dad's going to watch this. And then every time, frankly, after I watch this, every time I hear any of these songs, this is the version I'm going to sing.
It's a nice day for
road whacking.
Good whacking. There it is. I couldn't remember the.
Yep. My penis. My favorite is the Peter Frampton one.
What was the Peter Frampton one again?
Ooh, baby, I masturbate every day.
I think the come a chameleon one's great.
That one's great too. They're
Just
all
because
great.
Despicable Me does a come a chameleon, and it made me think of Despicable Me.
They're all great. All the jizz jams are great. I think dads will love the jizz jams.
Dads like John Cena.
Dads do like John Cena.
I think dads like Zac Efron. I think he's like, if you've seen The Iron Claw,
dads like him.
I do think John. I think Zac Efron's starting to be a little dad coded.
He was in Dirty Grandpa, so I think that helps.
Yeah, dads do love Dirty Grandpa. Like, they love. Let me go through Zac Efron's filmography, like recent filmography, real quick, just to get a feel. So Ricky Stanicky,
yeah,
followed by The Iron Claw. Dear Lord, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, which I haven't seen. Firestarter. So he slowed down a little bit here throughout COVID. Greatest Showman. I forgot he was in that.
Baywatch. He's in the Baywatch movie.
Baywatch. He's in The Disaster Artist.
Neighbors.
He was in that Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. So he's been doing the R-rated comedies. I do like Neighbors also. Didn't realize there was a Neighbors 3. Oh, I think it's kind of a spoof. Dirty Grandpa. Wow, Neighbors is 10 years old. I'm not going back any further.
Okay. Yeah, I think
he's starting to be dad coded.
Yeah, John Cena and Zac Efron are definitely dad coded. I think dads will enjoy the premise of like these three men just like having a fake friend to lie to get out of things so they can go to Atlantic City instead of being with their wives.
And it'll remind them of their like middle school friends and their antics they got into with them.
Yeah.
What else? This is fun characters.
Fun characters. It's a dads love a raunchy comedy, right?
Which you don't get enough of those.
Yeah. I think this is definitely one of those movies where like because dads love to watch a funny movie and then just spend the next month quoting that movie just randomly out of nowhere, unprompted. And I think this is right. Like, that's just a thing dads do. And I can very much see dads like, putting this on, enjoying it. And just for the next month out of nowhere, like just telling their kids, I used to peel shrimp at Beef Steak Charlie's. Be like,
I forgot about that line.
right? And
You
just
texted me that line as I was watching it. You texted it, and then like a minute later it happened. I was like, "Oh, I finally got the context of that text."
well, because you texted me a line, so I thought you had just watched it. So I texted you back, not realizing you were in the middle of watching it. Because you texted me a line too.
Well, I knew you had seen it, but I don't know, on the dad radar, on the dad thermometer, the dad scale. I'm gonna hit 70 on it.
70. I think I'm gonna go 80 for this one. Because I think those jizz jams. I think dads are really gonna love those jizz jams.
It's gonna make them pull out their Jock Jams album afterwards and like
Also,
sing along but change the words.
I think what lowers this as a dad movie is the length. But I do, and again, like I don't think a comedy can ever be a full dad movie as much as like an action movie or like a crime thriller could be.
I think it depends on the comedy. I think it really depends on, like a movie, like anything from early Sandler, I think is going to be more of a dad movie.
Yeah, like a Monty Python. Like this isn't like a Monty Python or an Airplane.
Right.
I wouldn't even classify it with like a Dumb and Dumber. But
it doesn't get too wacky. It keeps it simple.
Yeah, but I think there's enough bits here that dads are gonna love. They're gonna quote later, and I think you're forgetting to take into account in your rating William H. Macy of it all. I think once he shows up, dads are gonna perk up. Any dad that's like kind of drifting, as soon as like William H. Macy is there, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's William H. Macy." Dads like William H. Macy.
I forgot about him. I'm gonna bump that up to a 75.
Okay, yeah. So let's just round it out and call it a 78.
Let's do it. 78.
78% dad certified. Ricky Stanicky. Your father will be watching this, and he'll be doing it standing next to the couch.
I was gonna do a jizz jam there, but I don't want to get the episode demonetized.
I don't think we're monetized yet, actually.
That's disappointing. You know what else is disappointing?
Hang on, wait. Do we do this before or after the dad jokes?
I'm starting to forget the order.
Okay, let's start doing it before, but let's not forget the dad jokes like we did last week.
Like we did with A Quiet Place?
Yeah. You know what? Our dad jokes were just too quiet. They couldn't be heard on
our
the
dad
podcast.
Jokes, we were signing our dad joke. If we signed that whole segment and you just couldn't hear it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Negative Nancy's, right?
We have our IMDb Negative Nancy's. This is the segment of the show where we pick goofs that people had the audacity to get on IMDb and write out to piss the rest of us off.
Yes. Now, usually we each pick one and read it aloud. However, Ricky Stanicky is such a perfect movie that no one on IMDb could even come up with any of these stupid goofs. There are 3, however, so I'm just going to read them all off. I have the page up right now.
All right, what you got?
All right. About 34 minutes in the background, driving back from picking up Rod from the airport, the same parked white SUV and gray pickup appear 3 times within a few seconds. Why? Why are you paying attention to the cars in the background?
So is that them saying like the car is moved like numerous times, but then you look to the side of the car that we're watching and you see this same white SUV? Is that what they're saying?
I think so, but it's not entirely clear.
There could be multiple white SUVs parked on the same street. Just a thought.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening.
Happened.
I don't know.
Happened before.
I don't know what's happening there, but it's not exactly clear. Next up, this is listed under revealing mistakes. When the duck comes out of the water after pulling Paul the dog into the pond around 31 minutes and sits on the golf ball, the film is reversed to make it look as if it is lowering onto it. Well, in fact, it is actually raising up off the golf ball.
We were talking about we weren't sure what would be cut if we were going to cut anything. I think it would be the duck trying to drown the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, that little dog had it coming because it attacked the duck, but it just feels so weird and out of place.
Yeah, you could have cut that off. I mean, like the scene, like moments right before that, I think you keep because it like
They explain what
Yeah.
Erin's going through and kind of set her up a little bit, but
And-
yeah,
but
you
then-
don't need the whole.
end it after she's like, no, I can't go to lunch right now. I gotta wait for this duck.
Or
Just
end it
yeah.
with the dog pulling the duck and the duck pulling the dog into the pond. End it right there.
What happened to
on
the
a
dog?
note.
What happened to the dog? Nobody knows. It's never
And then at
revealed.
you keep people with bated breath, and then at the end you see the dog and it's wearing a cast. You're like, oh my god, it survived.
Oh, speaking of dogs, you know what we didn't mention?
What did we forget?
This movie has a brief clip. Before he was doing his Jizz Jams, Rock Hard Rob hosted an X-rated dog show featuring 2 dogs doing it missionary style.
It looks so ungodly. You watch it and you're like, that doesn't know.
He mentions this. He mentions this like at the beginning of the movie, and you're damn right. By the end, that Chekhov's gun is fired.
They pay it off, and it looks is the most crazy thing I've seen on film this year.
Oh God. Oh, did you see? There's it's not really an after credits, but like near the end of the credits, they there's like a little like remix song of William H. Macy Air Dickin'.
I did see that, yeah.
That was fun. All right, last stupid goof.
I still had the humping dogs in my head, so I was still reeling from that.
Early in the film, the main trio take a flight from T.F. Green International Airport in Providence, Rhode Island, to Atlantic City. However, there are no direct flights offered from Providence to Atlantic City.
I want to fly where whoever wrote this, I want to fly to where they're living directly and kick their ass.
Yeah, why do you know so much about flight patterns, man? That's very suspicious.
Yeah, and why? Yeah, why do you know? Like, unless they specifically fly out at TF Green and have to land somewhere else, then go to Atlantic City. Why do you know this?
Yeah, why? I mean, like, what would you prefer to watch? Would you prefer to watch them get off their flight and get on their next flight? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with people?
I love that the goof insinuates that that's not what happened. I love that it insinuates that nope, they flew directly. Like yeah. Some of the anytime we're on these goof pages and I'm reading something, I'm like, you are taking so many leaps.
Because they never even say they're going on a direct flight. That's never mentioned here. You just assumed that because you didn't see them get on a second plane.
Matt, let's write a movie where nothing can be misconstrued. Like if they're flying from St. Louis to Austin, nope, you got to fly St. Louis to Dallas and then to Austin.
Okay, so after we did The Quiet Place, I watched the other 2 movies, and I was watching them with my sister. And when we were watching them, and this is the kind of thing like these people need to know, the people who make these goofs. So while we're watching them, we're watching A Quiet Place day 1, and there's the part where the guy from Stranger Things is like, he's like on a beam hiding from like the alpha like alien or whatever. And the big boy. And the big boy's like right up in his face, right? And he's just being silent and it's very tense again here. And then my sister goes, can't they hear heartbeats? Like, you'd think they'd hear heartbeats. And I'd be like, I don't know why they can't hear heartbeats. So I Googled it. And there's no definitive answer. And frankly, I didn't look because the first result was someone asked the same question on Reddit. Why can't the aliens hear human heartbeats? And one of the answers, whoever this person is a genius. And everybody who watches movies should listen to this Redditor, whose username I forgot. But their answer was, would that have been a good movie? No, it wouldn't have.
I will say I was scrolling Reddit yesterday and I thought of you because I scrolled past True Critic, whatever that subreddit is.
Oh, I know that one.
And the post was, what is a good movie that is just really stupid? And like numerous times A Quiet Place came up.
All right, let's get into our dad jokes.
Oh shit, where's my dad joke? Here it is. I've got one. It is. Are you sure those guys at the end of Ricky Stanicky gave him a cease and desist? Are you sure that wasn't a cease and dick cyst? That's all I got.
All right. You know, I can always tell just by looking when someone is lying. I can also tell when they're standing.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh, well, that's it for another episode.
We did it. We got to the end. This was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
I'm always a little nervous about comedies that didn't have theatrical releases, and that's the honest to truth God. Honest to God truth.
I'm always a little nervous of any movie that didn't get a theatrical release.
Like, I'm really nervous about this new Knives Out, all these Knives Out movies. I don't think, if they're not in theaters, they're telling me they're not good. So
yeah, I mean, maybe those are an exception because I know the Knives Out 1 got a theatrical release and that was good. So I'm a little less.
Not so much.
I'm a little less trepidatious, but like, you're telling me the Russo brothers are making a new Netflix original? My first thought is, what a piece of shit that's gonna be.
But Matt, it's got Millie Bobby Brown and it's got Chris Pratt and it's got,
oh my god, it's got the star of the Tomorrow War and Damsel. Wow.
Damsel, and it's got a $300 million budget for some reason.
Yeah, directed by the guys who brought you The Gray Man.
I do love The Gray Man. He was very gray. I don't know, man. Go back, Russo brothers. If I could offer you one piece of advice as some random asshole on the internet, go do some more sitcoms. You guys did pretty well on those.
Just go back to Marvel. If there's any, they're like just some people. This has nothing to do with Ricky Stanicky, but like people always get upset. Like anytime I see like people go like, "Oh, this filmmaker might do a thing for Marvel," I always see people go, "No, don't let them get trapped in the franchise machine." I'm like, okay, that's. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but like, okay, yeah, you don't want their vision stifled by Kevin Feige's machine. If anybody should go back to the Kevin Feige machine, it's the Russo brothers.
Yeah, whenever people are like, "Oh, don't do it," I'm like, "Well, no, go let them make their money, and then they'll be out." Like, look at Ryan Coogler.
Yeah,
like he's doing a sweet ass vampire movie now with Michael B. Jordan, and I'm like, "Yeah, let's fucking go."
Yeah, people, and like, look, I like the second Doctor Strange movie. Would I like it if it was more Sam Raimi in it than there is? I mean, there's a lot of Sam Raimi in it, but would I like it if there was more? Absolutely. But, he's going to get his money. He's going to make a pretty good movie. But if there's anybody that, like, will have no downside, like, when the Russo brothers make a Marvel movie, there's no creative stifling going on. They're very much a, yes, sir, Kevin, we will do what you say.
Yes, Mr. Feige. Yes, Mr. Feige.
Yeah.
I think Sam Raimi's doing the next Doctor Strange I saw.
I did see that. Apparently Denzel might be the villain, so...
Right.
I don't think that's confirmed,
you know what?
But like, sign me up.
You know what? I'm gonna reserve my judgment. Marvel does tend to treat their like they had what's his name in Thor: Love and Thunder and wasted him. Christian Bale.
That is true. That is true.
You make the man a god killer, and he kills one god.
Yeah,
on screen.
I don't know if that's a Marvel decision or a Taika Waititi decision, but I don't know. Denzel Washington in a Sam Raimi movie?
The Screaming Goats had more screen time than Christian Bale in that movie.
I trust Sam Raimi to I feel like if you fuck up Denzel Washington, you should never be allowed to make a movie again, right?
Sam will do it good. The only villains he goofed up were Venom, and I don't think anyone's done a good Venom.
Yeah. I don't even think he really goofed Venom, to be honest with you.
Topher Grace was, you know what? People always scratch their head at that Topher Grace casting, and
It's
I'm like,
good.
no, that actually, I like that. Like
evil Tobey Maguire, that's Topher Grace, baby.
It's Topher Grace, and the people are, no, he needs to be a big muscle-bound man. No, why? He's a journalist. I don't need a big muscular photojournalist.
I don't even think, like, Venom didn't have enough time in that movie, but I think the time he had, he was pretty good.
He was a good Eddie Brock. I liked him. But also I'm a Topher for lifer. So
you're a
Topher. Can do
Topher.
no wrong in my eyes. Did a really good Black Mirror episode that I think's underrated.
All right. Well, now we're completely lost. We've completely lost the plot. So
we gotta spin that wheel. We gotta get lost in the wheel.
Oh,
spin that wheel. Spin
that? Wheel.
All right. As always, I will be doing the sound effect for this wheel because I can't connect this wheel to the recording equipment.
We don't have the technology. It's just not there.
It's not a real wheel. It's a wheel from Google. So,
Do you have any hopes? Any hopes? Any dreams of this wheel?
I would like. I mean, speaking of movies that went straight to streaming, so are probably bad. I have Hitman.
You want Hitman?
Yeah, let's go Hitman.
I want anything but Men or Con Air. Anything but Men or Con Air.
Oh, you're gonna fucking hate this then. It's Con
Men?
Air.
God damn it.
Have you
Well, at
seen
least-
Con Air?
At least it's not Men. No, never. I've never seen Con Air.
I saw Con Air once on AMC on the treadmill at the gym years ago.
You know, I think I was talking at one point. I was talking about. I don't know if this was on show or off show, but we were talking about Con Air for some reason, and I mentioned that it has the Scream song in it, and then I realized that's not Con Air, you idiot. That's Broken Arrow. So I'm constantly getting Broken Arrow and Con Air mixed up, but I've never seen Con Air.
I've never seen Broken Arrow.
I don't think any are probably anything to write home about.
That's isn't that John Woo?
Is that John Woo?
Broken Arrow? That's with Christian Slater, right?
Christian Slater. I think Travolta's in it. Broken
Arrow.
96. So hey, this is right around the same time as Con Air.
It is John
Yeah,
Woo.
that's John Woo.
Was it before or after Face Off? When was Face Off?
Face Off was like 95.
Was it? Oh, so it was before.
By the way, Con Air is, at least here in the States, is streaming on Hulu. So hey, if you're in the States, watch it on Hulu if you got Hulu.
If you're in Canada, you can watch it on Disney Plus.
Let me check. So Broken Arrow.
And Crave. That's right, we have our own streaming service. Canada.
Broken Arrow not streaming anywhere.
Is it not? Well, Broken Arrow is streaming on Disney Plus for me.
Lucky bastard.
Suck in America.
Box office 150 million.
What is this, Con Air?
Face Off was 97.
Okay.
I misspoke.
Oh, same year as Con Air.
Oh, look at that. Look at Nick Cage doing Con Air and Face Off in 97. And then he was in The Rock in 96. Oh, my God.
What a run. Well, I don't know, actually. I don't remember much of Con Air. But Face Off and The Rock, incredible stuff.
And then Crimson Tide. Why is it? It's recommending Crimson Tide. I guess it just falls in the same category as all these movies.
I mean, they are dad
90s
movies.
action.
They're dad
90s
movies.
action dad movies.
Crimson Tide is on the wheel.
It's on the wheel.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's prep up for Con Air. And I don't know how to end this episode.
You know, to me, Con Air is just the hair dryers that my wife uses. So it'll be nice to have another thing to associate the word Con Air with. End it there. It's a good joke to end on.